Alright. I was gonna switch to the 50, but I'm just like, I already set it up with 85, fuck it. So, I started watching the Billie Eilish Vanity Fair interviews. I think the second year it came out, and then I went back and saw the first one, and the fourth one just came out today. And I always thought it'd be interesting to do those questions for myself or do just a self interview in a way. Because for those of you who don't know, I interview artists on the Do You Like Ice Cream podcast. And it's a global podcast of, I've interviewed people from France, Italy, Russia, United States, Japan, uh, Czech Republic. Yeah, so we've gotten to see a lot of cool different perspectives, and I thought it'd just be interesting, not only as an artist, and not even just like a growing artist or anything like that, but just like from one artist to another person. This could be some sort of interview and see what you think as well as what my responses are or whatever. But this is also kind of like a year in review update for myself and like my friends that I haven't seen or that know me and maybe not necessarily know what I've been up to this past year. Obviously, in social media, we see the highlights of people's lives, so that's pretty much what we get to see, not really what's going on. So I thought it'd just be interesting to go through these questions and see what my responses are. Yeah. What is my name? My name is Dune Stewart. How many IG followers do I have? Not a lot. But enough, bro. Enough. On my personal account, I have 486. On my professional account, I have 465. And on Do You Like Ice Cream, I have 64. And then most followed person. The person who follows me the most is actually on Twitter, and it's Gabriel Iglesias. For those of you who don't know, I, like, out of all of my creative stuff that I've done so far, that's probably the most talked about thing that I've done, because I do voice acting. Currently it's like voice acting rapping right now, but when I first kind of got into voice acting, I learned all of Gabriel Iglesias's jokes and I performed them on stage. So that got talked about when I was like 18. It's 24 now, Jesus. Most liked photo, I have no idea. I'm not going through that shit. I could tell you though that it's probably my remote prospect photo, which is a Joshua Tree photo I did of a Milky Way with a silhouette of one of my friends, Ryan, in front of the camera. And I did a off-camera flash that silhouetted him in front of, and then in front of him you could see like the whole stars and everything. It was shot at Joshua Tree National Park, so that was pretty cool. Definitely my favorite photo I've shot so far. If I could describe myself next year, I feel like a lot has happened this year for not just me, but for everybody. And I think if I were to describe myself next year, it's going to be driven. Whether that's creatively or me trying to chase that bread. Specifically trying to make money, but at the same time, like, I've always been a fan of the thinking of like, I don't want to do something just to make money. I just want to find something that makes me enough money that I'm happy doing. And I'm still trying to figure out that balance. Like I can tell this year and last year I was fighting my ego of accepting a regular 9 to 5 job to pay my bills versus trying to work it as a freelance photographer, which is insanely difficult if you have ever tried it. um, how many days off next year? Not many. I don't think I'm gonna have many days off next year, because obviously this year it was always as a freelance photographer, I got a lot of days off starting in 2018. I would work probably I would work like 4 to 5 days out of the week and have like a few days off for 6 months of the year, and then the other 6 months of the year was like 2 days of work, 5 days off. So I was hella broke. And then I started working my 9 to 5, and now I'm back to that like right now it's actually 4 days on, 3 days off. So that's been pretty consistent for the past year. What do I wish I could have accomplished this year? I wish I could have gone to grad school this year. I applied to a few schools last year. I got accepted to one in Portland. But to be completely honest, I'm kind of glad that I didn't go to grad school. Not only because I feel like I grew so much this year that I think I'm now even more ready to go to grad school than I would have been if I started in August. But also importantly, I think I'm kind of reshaping how I want my grad school experience to be. I was very focused on what I was told, which was go to grad school to make connections in the right city you want to live in. And initially I chose Portland, but I think long term I probably won't live there. I'll probably live in SoCal for the most part of my life. And I think at that point it taught me to give more faith in LA, but I hate LA. So we'll see. What would I say to myself? Oh, what advice would I give myself last year that, with what I know from this year? I would definitely say take advantage, well, not advantage, but be okay with putting your life on pause and taking care of your mental health. Because if I did not take care of my mental health last year, I could not even imagine what the hell would be going on with me this year. What matters now? What matters more now than it did before? I think is definitely health. We've seen a lot of people lose their lives this year, whether that's through COVID or whether that's through the celebrity deaths we've been seeing, such as Chadwick Boseman and Kobe Bryant, and then freak accidents, and then even like Black Lives Matter, like we're seeing police brutality happen, and there's a lot going on this year. And so I think health and safety have been something to be grateful for a lot this year. My biggest struggle this year, I would say, is learning to change my ways without changing myself, because there's a lot of aspirations I have for myself that I want to do differently, but at the same time I have a struggle of making those happen too fast without giving it the time to breathe and actually prosper into a habit, instead of it just being a one-off thing and being like, fuck that, I hate it. So yeah, I would definitely say that. Who do I go to for guidance? Probably my sister, because I talk to her about everything pretty much. What will I embark on for the first time within the next year or this year? I've really been talking about getting a tattoo lately, so I think I'll get my first tattoo next year. I'm putting that up. What's the first thing I did when I woke up this morning? I rolled over onto my TV remote, and the video that was playing when I fell asleep started playing. And then I looked at my phone. So that's like pretty much the 10 seconds of me waking up. And then any technology that blows my mind. I mean, there's a lot that's happened in recent years technology wise, but I think if I'm gonna get geeky, I would say like the 3090 RTX graphics for like computer ray tracing is pretty insane, to see how far you could push the limits of visual technology to make it look as realistic as possible without it being so overbearing that it's just realism itself, you know. Positive news: Trump's not president next year. Sorry, not sorry. What's a fear I might have a year from now? I think a fear that I have in the future, or at least for next year, is, am I going to actually accomplish the changes that I want to see myself make next year? And I think my biggest fear is staying the same. I never want to stay the same as the person I was the year before. Because in 2018, I grew into an independent artist, and then in 2019, I grew into a more confident person, mentally, and then this year I've become a little bit more humble in my placement, and my situation. So I think that's something, yeah, just like humbleness and gratitude is something I tried to prioritize this year. My biggest thing in my career is this year, actually, ironically. Even though it didn't get much traction, it's not really like something I advertise a lot. It's just kind of like a, hey, if you know me and you like whatever I put out creatively, here's just another creative project. I wrote 2 books, one in 2018, one in 2019, but 2018 I was doing the trial and error of financing a book and realizing how over the top I went. And although I'm grateful I went over the top with it because I got that experience out of it, it was a very financial hardship that made me not be able to finance it until 2020, or the end of 2019. December 2019, the book was finally done being paid off. So it took me like a year and a half by the time it was finished to pay it off. But I released my first poetry book on my birthday this year, and although I don't really connect with it at this point, it was definitely a great reflection of how my mindset was when I was in Portland in 2018. And then Cactus Sweater came out just a few months after A Journey of Perspective. And that one, I wasn't sure if I should have released it later down the line to around this area, like Christmas 2020. But it was just at the point of like, I don't need all these expenses, like, or like an editor and shit. Like, it's like, yeah, you need an editor, but you don't need to go over the top when you know what you're doing after a certain point. And I felt like I liked that one a lot more than I liked my first one, because the second one's a little bit more relevant to everyone else, but also I feel like the poetry's a lot stronger in Cactus Sweater than in A Journey of Perspective. So yeah, I would say that's my biggest accomplishment in my career, is publishing 2 poetry books, and also publishing my first photography book as well, titled Premonition, which is photos that I took, archival photos that I took that speak to 2020 situation of COVID. It's interesting. And then, do I feel I can make an impact in people's lives? I feel like artistically I can make an impact in someone's life now, but also I think that's gonna come when I'm in grad school, because I have major projects, major photography, fine art projects lined up, and at this point it's just a matter of being in the environment, being in the space to create that work. And so when I go to grad school, that's when to expect the best photo work I'll be doing. Who is my best friend? I have 2. Jose and Christian. One of them's not talking to me, but whatever. Um, am I more or less confident from last year? I am way more confident than I was last year. I spent all of last year in therapy, and it was life changing, both mentally and physically, where who I was last year is like a whole different person from who I am now, and it's crazy. It's wild. And that was it for Vanity Fair's questions, but I actually looked up life changing questions as well, like things you should actually ask yourself and see what that is, you know? So, what do I expect my life how do I expect my life to be different in a year from now? Definitely, I kind of want to try and see if I can make enough money at travel out of the country for the first time. I mean, I've been to Mexico, but when I was a lot younger, I think I want to. Joe Greer actually just announced that he will most likely be doing another photo expedition workshop at the end of next year to Antarctica. So look out for that. I might hop on that train. And then, what am I most grateful for? Health and family right now, I would say. That's been prominent in 2020 with everyone not being able to see each other. And I live with family currently, so it's nice just to have people around and stuff like that. And then, what's something nice I can do for someone else today? I try to, whenever I can possibly, like whenever it pops in my mind, I try to do something about it, which is Black Lives Matter, which is Breonna Taylor, George Floyd. I'm trying to blank on his name right now. Eric Gardner. And just everyone, Trayvon Martin, who have lost their lives to police brutality or people who have been just abused by the system or just racially profiled by people who don't know any better, honestly. Like, it's crazy. So the nice thing I would do for them is just donate, post awareness about them, especially like when George Floyd came out, the George Floyd story, like I was out there protesting as well in June and donating to the Minneapolis court systems or the defense attorneys and everything, and I made all those calls. I made like 25 calls when it first sparked like intensity across the nation. It was wild. But I'm happy that a lot of people stood up for moral rights. Do I worry about outside opinions? Not really. I think when I was younger, I did. Like, I would say 20, 21, I still did. But after I moved to Portland, honestly, I just stopped caring about whatever people thought, because I was just like, I'm going to do what I want to do. I'm going to speak my mind. I'm going to create whatever I create. I'm going to work whatever job I'm going to work. Like, I don't care what you got going on in your life, because a lot of people take advantage of your fear, of your weakness, and then they prey on it, and you're just like, once you see it from the outside looking in, you're just like, wow, fuck this person. So fuck them, that's all I gotta say. What am I doing to invest in relationships? I think right now I'm just spend time with people. Like, I know right now we can't spend time with a lot of people, but people you live with, or people that you're quarantining with, or people that are working essential jobs with you, like, you're still interacting with them. It's just, yeah, just spend time with people. What do I do for fun? I am doing side hustles. I am technically a photographer. but I am also a podcast host for Do You Like Ice Cream? I am a poetry writer, but I kind of want to just label it writer because poetry is just it's just a saga collection for my first entry into the industry. But I think my second entry will be a crime mystery novel. I thought that'd be interesting. And then what else do I do? I mean, I'm a video game streamer, R2 Dune 2 on Twitch. So come through and watch me play whatever. Phasmophobia, Call of Duty, RDR2, like whatever. I play whatever and everything. And then I also am a voice actor. I have now labeled it imitation rapping because it's like karaoke, but at the same time like rap covers, but at the same time voice acting rap covers. So I'm calling it imitation rapping. And currently my number two songs that I can do right now are Element by Kendrick Lamar and Wow Freestyle by J-Rock and Kendrick Lamar. Those songs just seem to hit differently for me right now. So those are my two songs. Am I comfortable in my own skin? I would say I'm a lot more comfortable probably the most I've ever been comfortable in my own skin this year than I have any other year. I've just kind of not like accepted me not changing, but just accepting the situation and understanding that change will come when I can afford it to change. That's all. Who is my favorite artist? For really photography wise, I mean Joe Greer, obviously photography wise, but musically, I really like G Yamazawa, who is a Japanese American hip hop rapper from North Carolina, and Dreamville, which is also from North Carolina. But yeah, Dreamville and G Yamazawa, those are my favorite artists right now. Do I often talk to family? Yes, I do. I live with my family. I also have family that are quarantining by themselves, and they will see me sometimes. So, yeah. Favorite movie? Kill Bill. Do I have a girlfriend? I am working on it. I am talking to someone. I'm hoping it works out. If it doesn't, then it'll happen, It'll happen when it happens. Do I have any non-photo aspirations right now? I need to finish the poetry saga, but I want to give it more time because the third one's going to be about transcendence. So I'll probably write that one in like 1 or 2 years, and then that'll be the end of the saga, and then I'll move on to something else in writing. But I would say right now, the only thing I'm working on creatively is I might I don't know. I'm not really working on anything creatively. I gave like music a shot. I guess that's what I've been working on creatively, is like I've been giving music a try to see if I'd be interested in it. I can't sing for shit. So I would need singing lessons if I went into singing. I love rap, but it's not really my place to be a rapper. I don't know, we'll see. And how do I feel about the photo industry? I feel like after interning for someone in the industry, I learned a lot in terms of what it's like. And it's not as bad as I thought it would be, but it's definitely way more commercial and just way over the top, like production and everything. And it's nice, but it's just, I feel like it loses the artistic aesthetic of what it means to actually create art, whereas right here you're just creating a brand, Is it all worth it? I think so. I think if you asked me that 3 years ago, I would have been asking you the same question. But I think at this point, yes, it is worth it. The best approach to learn photography. So I was told before I got my degree, or before I even went to school, hey, if you're gonna do something artistic, just learn from third-party resources. There's no reason you should get a degree in it, blah blah blah. And it's like, yeah, I get it. I could agree that you definitely don't need to go to school for it to learn it. But what I have learned a lot from school is the introduction to how many artists are out there globally, and what you what skills you can learn from previous artists that you can apply in the contemporary world of art, and also how many genres are within an artistic medium, where for photography it could be composite photography, it could be appropriation imagery, it could be using third-party software like Google Maps or Google Earth or whatever to make series of work and have them in a gallery still, or stealing people's Instagram photos and putting it in a gallery, if you know who I'm talking about. Am I more or less creative from last year? I think I am less creative because last year I was writing a lot, but this year I haven't been doing anything, and I think that's just because this year I did so much. In the first 6 months of this year was when I had 3 books published and I got my bachelor's degree. It was a lot. And so the second half of this year has been really slow, but I'm okay with that. What is my style in 3 words? Comfy, fashionable, and comfy, fashionable, and comfy, fashionable, and homeless? Sometimes. So yeah, that was all the questions I got. I hope this gives you some insight into who I am, but also maybe you can reflect on the questions yourself and see if you've grown over the past year, or maybe you have multiple answers for the same question or something like that. But thanks for checking it out, and I hope you had a good time watching. And you can find me on Instagram at Dune Stewart, at ArtTuneDune2, at D like ice cream. You can listen to podcasts on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever podcasts are available, because that gets sent out to every platform. You can go to DuneStewartPhotography.com, check out my portfolio on appropriation imagery, portraits, real estate, products, my neighborhood series, black and white series, my blah blah blah, you know, like everything. You can also check me out on Twitch if you like watching streamers, twitch.tv/R2Dune2. I play frequently. Yeah, I think that's it. I don't know what else I do. Oh, you can go check out A Journey of Perspective on Amazon, and Cactus Sweater on Amazon, and Premonition, my photo book, on Blurb. Yeah, I think that's it. I will see you guys next time, and hopefully next time we're not in quarantine and we're not dealing with this bullshit. So yeah, see you next time, and I hope you really enjoyed this video.